Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl, Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. Hopefully, you guys are having a lovely Sunday, rather super early, midday, or maybe even the next day. Because, we got some people from Australia and New Zealand that pops in here once in a while, and they're talking from the future. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to continue on with the arithmetic reasoning section of the ASVAB. But remember, a lot of these components are also seen in GED, the AccuPlacer, the IBEW for your electronic apprentice, also the TEAS test, the HESI test, everything that's a test from A to Z, no matter what the letters, you're going to have to face word problems. So as you guys are coming on in, go ahead and tap away and make sure I know that you are here. And if you're one of my members, like what Miss Jordan did, hey Jordan Square, how are you doing? Just go ahead and hit the orange heart to just show me that you are here, right? Happy Sunday, praise be, and I'm so glad that you guys are here. Why do I feel like a radio person right now? I feel like a DJ, and then we're gonna play the hip in the mix of the 10 sensational songs of October. Okay, so anyway, so as you guys are coming on in, go ahead and start tapping away. We're going to get started in less than 1 minute. Just want to kind of grab a couple of things because I just came from the gym. Thank God there's not smell-o-vision. But hard work has got to come in all forms, and you are doing the hard work of mental math because we know a lot of you guys tends to struggle, but guess what? I'm here to help you out. All right, thank you so much for checking in. You postponed your ASVAB. Need more study sessions? Okay, Jordan, let's go. Let's get it. Let's go. I love Lucy. Thank you for the heart puffs. I appreciate it so much. All right, so let's get started. Here's our number one. Well, number one for today, but number 13, because remember, we're continuing on, right? Thank God you don't have it, Lucy. Thank God. I was working pretty hard. It's time for me to get myself back into shape. I can't keep sitting in this chair all day. No, not my thing. Hello, Marvelly. How are you doing? Okay, so your commander orders you to fly a weather balloon at the end of a 500-foot string. Your first sergeant comes out in a nearby building and stands directly under the balloon 300 feet away from you and yells, "How high is that balloon?" Assuming the ground is level, what is the correct answer? Is it A, 200 feet, B, 300 feet, C, 400 feet, or D, 500 feet? And thanks for checking in, Red Indian. I see you in there. All right, we got my Bella saying A, Curtis almost. Almost. Brianna B, four big guys A, Curtis with the almost again. Almost A, okay. Packy saying A, Bree is saying A, Bobby, 345, love it. Jordan Square is saying A. Okay, Faith is saying 5, 5, okay. Michael saying A, Selena saying A. Now, if you're not sure what it is, you can also use a question mark because that's perfectly fine. We're all learning at different speeds, at different levels. Some of us probably just saw this last week. Some of us haven't seen it since we were a fetus. So we got time. Trying to bring some of this stuff up. Okay, Faith is saying 500. Thank you, merci. Okay, I love Lucy, merci. Cool with the D. Okay, perfectly. Okay, Tim is saying 400. Okay, give me a couple more answers and then I'm going to show how we're going to get this. Okay, Matthew's giving us a breakdown. Okay, user 50 is saying 345 for the right triangle people. Okay, 400 feet. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. Now, when you get word problems and they give you situations like this, let's draw it out. All right? Don't laugh at my single people. Okay, so we have a weather balloon. So we're going to have a balloon right up here, and it's toggled by a string. Okay, that is 500 feet. Okay, then it says your first sergeant comes out, nearby building. Said building's right here. That's nothing. But he is 300 feet, and he's standing directly underneath. So this is going to be your first sergeant right there. And he is 300 feet away from you. Okay? And they're saying how high, which this is what we're looking for. Okay? So now we are looking at a classic problem that they always use with right triangles. Okay? I know it doesn't say it, but these problems, every time they give you these type of problems, it's always going to be dealing with the right triangle. And that means it's always going to deal with the Pythagorean theorem. Now, I'm seeing 300, I'm seeing 500, and I have an unknown. Now, the Pythagorean theorem, I'm going to do it the long way, but I know there's a short way, so please don't, well, there's another way. Well, I know there's another way, okay? Just put the thumb back in the mouth and we'll be okay. Now, Pythagorean's theorem, that is our a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, you're probably like, what's a, b, and c? Well, our longest side is always directly across from the 90-degree angle. So this is your C, aka your hypotenuse. Your other two sides, they're called the legs, and that's A and B. Here's the best thing about A and B. It doesn't matter which one's A and which one's B. You pick. Okay, so don't sit there spending forever. Should this be the A? Should this be the B? Dun, dun, dun. It don't matter. Okay? So here they will have my 300 squared plus my unknown side that we're looking for squared is going to equal my 500 squared. But why torture ourselves? Because when you're squaring something, you're making it huge, so much bigger. So since these both have two zeros on the end, let's cancel them out just for right now. Put that little hundreds off to the side. So we're really looking at 3 squared plus x squared equals 5 squared. So much easier to deal with. But remember, I just kind of keep that as a reminder of what we're doing. So, in order for me to get x squared by itself, I'm going to push this off to the side a little bit. In order for me to get x squared by itself, I need to subtract this 3 squared. Well, we all know, hopefully we know by now, that 3 squared is 9, not 6, because it's a base of 3 raised to the exponent of 2. Plus my x squared equals my 5 squared, which is 25, not 10. Okay, it's a base of 5 raised into itself 2 times. So when we subtract 9 on both sides, we're basically isolating our x squared. So 25 minus 9, that gives me 16. Now, in order for me to get rid of a square, I have to do a square root. So why am I doing a square root? Because squares and square roots are inverses of each other. Just like addition is the inverse of subtraction, vice versa, and multiplication is the inverse of division, vice versa. So what's happening here, the square and the square root will cancel out, leaving me with x equals, and normally it's going to be plus or minus the square root of 16. Square root of 16 is 4, because 4 times 4 gives me 16. But we're looking at length, so it doesn't make any sense for me to have a negative. So my answer is actually going to be a positive 4. But remember, we took out the 2 zeros, right? Put those 2 zeros back in. And your answer is going to be C, 400. Okay? Now, for I think it was Bobby, he mentioned it, he was the first one to mention it, that this is a classic right triangle. It is a 3, 4, 5 right triangle. So that means one side is going to be 3s, the other side is going to be 4s, and the other side, the hypotenuse, is going to be 5. And that's what we got here. If you can remember the 3, 4, 5, and you see 300 and 500, boom, that's 400. You answer it, you circle it, bubble it, and move on. Okay? All right, so let me go to the chat. Let's see what we got. Not a problem. Yes, Justin. You said it? Yes, but Bobby said it first. Why is everything a competition? Why? Okay. All right. And then you got Timmy said it as well. All right. So are we all understanding? Okay. Let's hit with number 2. Or 14. I keep doing this. All right. Yep. It is the triples. So for number 14. All right. So we got Patricia is twice as old as Laura. In 3 years, the sum of their ages will be 42. How old is Patricia? How old is Patty? What she got? So is it A, 12, B, 18, C, 24, or D, 28? Oh, Patty, thank you. You could. I know, it's 14. Some of you guys might have to expand your graphs because sometimes I have a tendency to overshoot. Okay, so we have Alexa with 18B. Got you, Alexa. Jerry Dowg is saying D. Okay, Isaiah is saying 18. Created by Adam saying 24, which is C. Oh, I'm sorry, Fuzz. You asked the question. What if the 300 is 600 and the 500 is 700? Well, then it won't be a 3, 4, 5. You will actually have to do the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, who am I missing? So is that EB is 24, Peggy 24, D with my bullseye, Jimbo with a C. Hello, Robert. Most definitely C with the 24. Okay, principal is saying 18 with a question mark. Okay, Ty is saying B. Then we have, is that the diabolical? Oh no, saying C. Eli saying 18. I don't even know where to start with this one. Not a problem. Captain Crunch, I used to love your cereal. What happened? The saying B, Tekka B. Okay, Justin D, Molly 18. Okay, we got some D's, we got some 18s. Let us see. Okay, so since we want to know how old is Patty, I'm just going to call her Patty now. But we know that Patty is twice as old as Laura. So let's say that Laura is going to be our unknown. Because we don't know about Laura. But we definitely know that Patty is 2 times Laura. Okay? And then they mentioned in 3 years, this is the thing. At one point, this got me, and I'm not even going to lie. They say in 3 years, the sum of their ages will be 42. All right, so while we know Patty, so Patty is 2x. We know Laura, which is x. So we know in 3 years, which I'm going to say Laura plus 3 years because we don't know what Laura's doing, is going to equal 42. So when I combine my x's, I have 2x here, I have 1x here, and 1x there. So that gives me Wait, no. This should be a 3 because it's happening in 3 years. So sorry. Okay, so this is Patty. This is Laura. So 2x plus 3 plus x plus 3. There we go. All right, my mistake. So we have 2x plus 1x gives me 3x. And then 3 plus 3 gives me 6. And the why I'm doing that, adding the 3, because they said in 3 years, the sum of their ages would be 42. So if Patty is going to be 2x, that's why it's going to be 2x plus 3. And if Laura is going to be my x, that's why we got x plus 3, because this is what's happening in 3 years. Equals 42. Now we're going to subtract 6 on both sides. Now we have 3x is equal to 36. So this is telling me, if I divide both sides by 3, that x is going to equal to 12. So this is why a lot of you guys were saying A. But you found Laura's age. Now we need to find Patty's age, right? And Patty is twice as old as Laura. So twice as old as Laura, that's 12 times 2, which gives me 24. So that's why the answer is going to be C. Okay. All right. Okay. So if you guys tell me A, you found what Laura's age is. We just had to take it one step further to make sure that we find Patricia's. Yes, you can. Good, Jay. All right. So there's multiple ways. Hey, General, how are you? Just saw you in here. Okay. You're smart? Yes, you are. You're all smart. Come on. Give yourself some credit. All right. Now, number 15. Yes, it looks like a novel. All right. But I like when I see a pack like this. All right, let me get my 2 cents out of it. Let's see if you can figure it out. Sometimes I do that, so I gotta stop. All right, your boss tells you to neatly stack a pile of boards against a building. Each board is 8 feet long, 6 inches wide, and 4 inches thick. She tells you to place 4 boards side by side, then 4 more boards on top of those, then 4 more boards on top of those, and so on to create your stack. When you're finished, the stack is 10 feet high. How many pieces of lumber are there in the entire stack? Okay. Okay. Alright, so I got my 120. I have a B with a question mark, which is 130. I have an A with created. Okay, I got a person that wants to ask a question. If it's asking me, like, when are we going to use this in real life, just keep it moving because I'm tired of answering that question. I have so many videos and other places that you can see the replay and you can hear it, my response. All right, so we have C, we have Bree with a B, we have Drea with a B, we have Janessa with a B. Okay, my DM is unsure. Thank you for your honesty. Seeking with a C, Sam saying C, Peggy Sue with a B, Sade. Ooh, just like the singer. Smooth operator. T Wood with an A. Okay. Principal, I just did 4 inches, what got me 12 inches, and 12 inches is 1 foot, so I did 12 by, which is 120. Okay. Okay, we got our this, we got our A, we got A, 1 person, we got C with Pia. Okay, Gianna saying 120. Okay, we got C with user 2097. All right, so we can do this one of 2 ways. First off, we got things in different sizes here. All right, so we have 8 feet then we have 6 inches, and then 4 inches. Okay, so now, but here's the stack. The stack is in feet. Okay, so we can get, because if you just do straight, yes, interesting, right? So we're going to have to do some conversions. What are we going to convert to? Interesting saying, Robert. Okay, so you got something different? Good question. So we want to put it in inches, but if everything else is in feet, so we're going to have to like do a little bit of conversion. So if you have, it's going to be 8 feet long, 6 inches wide, which is, that's half of a foot, right? And then 4 inches thick. 4 inches is what? A third wide, right? A third thick. Because we know with our height, we do get, well, how should I put it? I know how many pieces. And then I do the thickness, since there's 4 pieces in there. Okay. So how should I put this? I was like, how should I put this without just me just saying, yeah, just do this, okay, and then we're done. Because if we have 1/2 times that 1/3, and then if we multiply by that 8, then we multiply by that 10. But if we get our height, it's going to be the 120. Because I multiplied the 10 by 12. Okay. So if I'm looking at my height, this is how I did it. And I know there's multiple ways of doing it. So I know if I'm looking at my height, and we can put it into inches. So in order for me to put that into inches, I would have to do 10 times 12, because there's 12 inches in a foot. But then I had to look at the thickness of each of the planks, which will be 4. So I know I can easily simplify by 12 divided by 4 gives me 3. 10 times 3 gives me 30. So this gives me how many pieces. But then we were stacking them. We were placing 4 pieces side by side. So if we want to know how many, that means we're going to multiply this bad boy by 4. And that's how I got my 120. I didn't even care about the long and the lengths of it because I'm looking at the actual boards. But then I just basically changed these from feet to inches. And the reason why, because we're in the hundreds. You're not going to have 120 in like 10 feet. That's weird. So I just changed it to inches. That's how I saw 120 in like 10 feet. That's weird. So I just changed it to inches. That's how I solved it. Now I know there's probably a little more. Okay, I know there's probably a little more. Right. Yeah. And usually you're exactly right. Because if you're stocking a pile, you're not going to have it this way. You're going to have them laying down. Right? So I just converted my 10 feet into inches. Then, since they were talking about there's 4 boards side by side, So then I'll just like go ahead and divide that by 4, and I figure out, okay, there's 30 pieces. But then we did, no, this was the thickness, and then we did our boards to get my 120. That's how I did it, but I know there's multiple ways of doing it. Okay, but that's how I got my 120. It's Sunday, you don't want to use your brain today? Well, you used your brain. How did you able to write? How were you able to talk? How are you able to get something to eat? You used your brain today. You know, did you get out of bed? Did you go to the bathroom? You used your brain. So you can't say you don't want to use your brain. You already did that. Okay. All right. Okay. Rod took his girlfriend Jackie out to dinner. Dinner cost $18.45, and Rod tipped 15%. If Rod gave the waitress $40, how much change should he get back? Is it A, $15.32, B, $17.91, C, $18.13, or D, $18.78? Okay. So we got a couple D's. Okay, Black and Baggin saying D, user, Rez, Cody, all saying D, Dip saying C. Hey, Robert. Got a few more, a couple D's. Seth, Eric, and AJ. I think it's AJ. Oh, AJ Fitness. There we go. Sometimes I have to break up the words. Okay, I don't know says D. Well, you picked the answer, so you do know. Curtis, Taylor, all these. Okay, user. All right. No, we're not going to the next question just yet. Okay, we got our D's, we got some C's. Okay. The fact that I'm getting a couple of C's is this is why we're doing this. All right. So first of all, so dinner costs like $18.45. Okay, so he's tipping 15%. Okay, that's what he wants to tip. So we need to figure out what is 15% of this total. So once you get your 18.45, we're going to change our 15%. So that's 0.15. Okay, so we kind of need to know what our 15% and then figure out how much is left in there. If he gave her 40, how much change is he going to get back? All right. So I know for the sake of everything, everyone's like, oh, well, you could just put it in a calculator, or you could just stick it in Chat GPT, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? When you take the ASVAB, the GED, the Accuplacer, you cannot have a calculator. TEAS test, HES test, you can use a calculator. IBEW, you won't be able to use a calculator unless you have a IEP or a 504. If you had any form of that, they will make an adjustment for you, but you have to make it clear and concise. So just want to let that know. So 40, 42, and this is a 9. We got our 5, our 4, our 8, and our 1. 5. We got 7, 6, 17. So roughly, this is 2 decimal places. This is 2 decimal places. So that means my answer needs to be 4 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If I were to round this, this is how much the tip is. Keep it clean, this is the Lord's Day. Okay, so 277. So now you have to figure out, okay, if that's going to be the tip, that's going to be the 18.45. He paid 40. How much is he getting back? And what he's getting back is our 18.78. Okay. Yeah, you want to round up, Florida. I know, right, Maria? 1845 for two people, right? Okay. So you always want to round because remember, it's not exact. So if you're going to round, remember our change is always in two digits. So that means I'm going to look at this 7. If it's 5 and above, I'm going to give it a shove. So I'm adding 1 to the previous spot. That's how we got our 77. All right. Okay. So there's 698 of us here. Let's see if we can shoot real quick, do a mad dash, a mad tap, I should say. Let's see if we can get to 13. So if we all do a quick tap, you can all do it. I skipped a part? No. I found the tip, and then you just have to do your calculations to find how much change it's going to get. That is subtraction. Get to it. Alright, so mad tap, let's see if we can get to like 15. I would greatly appreciate that so we can get more people coming in. If you also love, or actually not love, but like some of these lives, make sure that you hit the orange heart near my name so you can find out when I'm going to go live. I'm noticing that when I don't have a schedule, I have less trolls that way. So I had to take my schedule down because some of them were being very aggressive. Like, why? It's math. Like, get crazy. So if we can get to that, I would greatly appreciate that. They said I skipped a step. They can say I skipped a step. Do the subtraction. Yeah, then they gotta use subtract. That's what it is. Okay. You add the. Thank you, Laylee. It's already got there. You got your tip, you got your dinner, and you subtract by 40. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Most trolls are bots. I don't know. Either way, you need to go back to the depths of hell which they came if. Because I'm sitting here doing math, not doing anything else, right? But when you try to threaten me and you actually contact my family and TikTok does nothing about it, I got a problem with that. But then there's people like you guys that would keep tapping so we can go to the next question. And Big Black, Big and Baggy, I need for you to straighten yourself out. I know you got some home training. Let's go. Let's resolve it. Okay? Peace. Waited. Yes. Yeah. But when they sit there and they actually tell me what my mom's address is, and TikTok does nothing about it, I mean, if it wasn't because of some people that actually say they used me and they said, oh my gosh, this was helping, this is working, that's the only reason why I come back. I'll just have to deal with TikTok some other legal way. Yeah, it is. It is. Right, exactly, CT. Exactly. Really, it's math. Okay, appreciate it, Black and Becky. All right, we're almost there. We're almost at 15. Let's get it there. All right, perfect. Here's the next question. Okay, Christina's salary of $320 per week is increased to $360. What percentage pay raise did she receive? Was it A, 2.5, B, 14.3, C, 9.2, or D, 8.4? Caribbean Queen, how are you? I appreciate it, you bet. Okay, so I'm getting some D's. Got Ty with a C, Curtis with a D. What is that? Jax? Octavia? With the E, A's? Okay, Octavia. I got you. Hey, Jocelyn. Jocelyn with an A. Spookstar with an A. Okay. Farmer with an A. Lisa with a D. Sim squared, saying A. Okay, Epi A, Avery, Epi C, Avery A. Okay, we got a mixture. Now we got a D. Okay, so we got A's, B's, C's, and a few D's. Turks and Caicos, saying A. Okay, not really sure why. All right, let's get it going. All right, so in order for you to figure out Christina's salary, we have to do this lovely pattern. It's always your new minus the old divided by the old times 100. And the reason why we're multiplying by 100 because of the percentage. Now, the new is an increase. Okay, cool. We have 360 minus the old salary, which was 320. And we always divide it over the old, which is 320. So, 360 minus 320 gives us a lovely 40. Now, 40 is going to be over 320. Now, since both of them are ending with zeros, let's kind of get rid of those zeros. So now we got smaller numbers to deal with. And yes, you can do that. So now 4 over 32 is the same as saying 1 over 8. And then we're going to multiply this by 100. So this is the same as saying 100 over 8, right? So let's divide. Got your 100 divided by 8. So how many 8s can go into 10? 1. 10 minus 8 will give me 2. Bring down the 0, so now it's not a 2, now it's a 20. So how many 8s can go into 20 without going over? That would be 2. Because 8 times 2 will give me 16. Right here, this is when I stop. Because I'm looking and I'm seeing my answer right away. When I saw the 1, I knew that C and D was out. But I had to do the second digit to see, is it going to be a 2 or is it going to be a 4? And it's a 2, so it has to be A. But if you want to see it all the way, we're going to bring down my 4. Then we have our decimal point lined up. Add 1 0. Bring down that 0. So now the 4 is a 40. How many 8s can go into 40? 5. With no remainder. Okay. Now, when you take any of these type of assessments, make sure you remember this is a timed assessment. Okay, the only assessment that I've heard of that there is possible extra time if you ask ahead of time and you had an IEP or a 504 is the IBEW. And you can get time and I think it's time and a half or double time. Nope, I lied. Double time. You can get double time for that. And that's being an apprentice, electrician apprentice. So I've actually heard and seen somebody got that extra time. But everyone else, you're going to have to do it by hand. And remember, you don't have to complete your work. Now, for those that are watching this and you're currently in class, you need to show your work in class because that's how your teacher can possibly give you partial credit. But with these type of assessments, it's either you know it or you don't. So there's no like even keel. Okay. All right. Now, is there a more simpler way? That was it. Okay? Don't get shortcuts for everything, babies. If you want what you want, you got to work for it. Okay? All right. All right. Number 18. Okay? Bailey loaned Robin $1,500 at a simple annual interest rate of 7%. If she repays the loan after 2 years, how much would she have to pay? Is it A, $1,810, B, $1,710, C, $1,765, or D, $1,832? Okay, Yvette, Avery, and Peace are all three are saying B. Della saying B, Sai saying B, Doctor saying B, and B, Alone B, Yoda B, Chanel is saying B. Okay. Ashley saying B. Tantrum saying B. Okay, seeing a lot of B's. User, there isn't an E. If you're not sure what it is, use a question mark. Okay? Good. So I'm seeing a lot of B's. I know. I know they're using their calculator. But here's my thing. It's going to be shock. You are what you practice. Maybe it's my basketball days coming up. If you have crappy practice, you're going to be crappy in the game. So I want you to just go one and done instead of like, oh, I got close again. So here we are. We're doing our simple interest. So simple interest is your principal times the rate times the time. Okay, that's your simple interest. So we started off with 1,500. Our rate at 7%, but we need to change this percent to a decimal. So 0.07 times your time. Your time is always in years. So we're lucky that it was a whole number. Notice how they just wrote the word out too. And that's what they do because they're so used to people skimming through that it forced you to go back to the problem to find the years. So just be careful. So your time is going to be 2. So if they ever say anything about like 6 months, that means your year is going to be half or 0.5. Okay? So your time is always based off of years. So if you want to, since this is all multiplication, we could multiply the 1,500 by 2 to get your 3,000. Okay? Because multiplication is commutative. That means I can move things around and still get the same result. So now, if I want to get 3,000 times 700ths, well, I know 7 times 3 is 21. And I know I have to move that decimal place over 2 spots. So that means I'm going to have an extra 0. So 210 is my interest. Okay, that's the interest that she's paying. That we have to tack this interest onto the original amount of the loan. Okay, so then that would take us 1,710. So my answer is B. Okay. All right. Let me scroll real quick. Hey, Rosette, how are you? All right. Okay. I know, right? Yep. So she had 2, and of course she got more. Got a whole list. All right. So, what is the best probability that 2 people will have the same birthday? So we're disregarding leap years, all that stuff, assuming that each year is 365 days long. So can we say it is 1,400%? Is it 27%? Is it 39%? Or is it 0%? CT, how do you get the 3,000? You multiply the 1,500 times 2. Because you're multiplying all of these together. That's how you got the 210. Okay, so I'm seeing a sea of A's. Okay, Yellow's not sure. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for the follows, everyone. Appreciate it. Okay, I got a B. Hey, West Virginia, how are you doing? Welcome back. Okay, no clue, Angie. Thank you for your honesty. Not a problem. Okay, DD is thinking B. Okay, you got 1 and 365. Okay, all of them? No, there's one. Be less. Okay, it's B. No clue. Thank you. Thank you guys for the honesty. So we got C. You're guessing A. Okay, 0 clue. All right. All right. So let's think about this. Actually, who broke it down? I want to give credit and credit's due. It was Dee Dee. All right. So Dee Dee kind of actually broke it down for us. All right. So the probability of 2 people having the same birthdays. So the probability of one person's going to have one birthday, 1 out of 365 days out of a year. Okay? Another person is going to have that same probability of that 365 days out of a year. Now, we're not doing anything. So if they're going to have the same birthday, basically, it's merging into 1 out of 365. All we have to do is the division of that, because we're talking about the same birthdays. We're not talking about 2 different scenarios. We're talking about the same birthday. So all we have to do is figure out what's 365, instead of a 1, we got our 1, let's add some zeros. Let's add a lot of zeros. Okay, let's add a lot of zeros. So when we're looking at this, we got to figure out, all right, how many 365s can go in 100? Yeah, none. All right. How many 365s can go into 1,000? So then we're going to have to figure out which one will work without us healing ourselves. So I know I did this. And then plus they're saying percent. Ooh, that helps us. Then we're saying a percent. That means we got to multiply this bad boy by 100. That helps us so much. Because now it's really going to be 100 over 365. Makes so much sense. So that means that decimal point is really going to be right here. So how many zeros can go into 100? 0. For 1,000, let's use, okay, obviously D's out. Let's use the tenths to help us out. Now, if I do 365 times 3, can you see all this? Okay, we got our 5, 18, that's 19, 1, that's over that. That's done. So I'm going to try, since it was only 1,095, that means this 2 has to work for us. So 365 times 2, 0, 12, that's 13, 6, that's 7. Yeah, that's going to work. Okay, so you got your 730. So I know that's going to work, because if I use 1, that's going to be too far off. So B will be my answer. Okay, so since it's 2 people sharing the same birthday and they want the percent, that's why I had to multiply it by 10. So we got, 100. So we have a 100 over 365. Then we're doing our division. Let's see what gets us close. Use the tenths to kind of help us with the 365s. 365 times 3 was too much, so that means 0.2 was our best bet. 1 will be way too low. Okay? Okay? Average American, that's what I did. But here's my thing. I'm doing it manually because you can't use a calculator for this. Alright? I know it's tough. It's going to be real tough. You guys got to get used to your multiplication facts. You really do. And not be afraid to do some dabbling on your papers. Okay? Alright. Let's go with this one. So, there are 8 pints in a gallon. A half pint of milk is what part of a gallon? Is it A, 1/8, B, 1/4, C, 1/16, or D, 1/3? If you want to guesstimate in decimal, sure. Okay, so I got some C's. I have an A. I have C. I have 1/4, which is a B. I got a couple B's. Got a couple C's. Okay. All right, got my C's. Got my B's. Got my C's. All right. Now, you have full pints. There's 8 of them. If I were to break these 8 in half, I'm going to get 16. So a half pint of milk is what part of a gallon? It's 1/16. Okay. Exactly, West Virginia. There you go. Okay. So you have to do just half of 8. You only have to multiply 8. You just have to do, if you were splitting them up, you have 8 of them and you cut them in half. If you want to say, all right, I got 8 boxes. And I cut them all in half. You got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So it's going to be part of a gallon will be 1 out of 16. All right, we're good with that? Okay. Let's see. Oh, the favorite. Everyone's favorite. The train ones. Train A. Sorry. Train A is heading west and train B is heading east at 4 p.m. They are 260 miles apart. If train A, sorry, my pile of paper was all over the place. All right, if train A is traveling at 70 miles per hour and train B is traveling at 60 miles per hour, what time will they meet? Is it A, 5 p.m., B, 6 p.m., C, 7 p.m., or D, 8 p.m.? Okay, so we got a B, we got Nikki with a B, Nicole with a B, Buddy with a B, Popeye with a B, Hail Mary, okay, using with a C. Okay, Big G Money saying C. Okay, Brandon saying B. Okay, my Lash is saying my A, Aaliyah is saying my B. Okay, Rosette with a B, too much work. Just guess C. They changed that fact, darling. Because so many people always pick C, so they switched it. If you're going to guess anything, always guess A. Yeah, they changed that years ago. Depends on the time zone, okay? Alright, Mr. Womanizer. What? Alright, anyway, we got a D, we got a B, we got 6. Not very smart, that's alright. You are smart. Bruh, 6 p.m. Okay? We got some B's. I mean, if everyone's giving me B's, I would totally understand, but I'm not. I'm getting some interesting answers. They're on the same track. Well, till they blow up. Okay, so we have train A. We have train B, right? They are 260 miles apart. They're telling me my rate. So this is what they used back in the day. Is your distance, then you have your rate times time. Okay? So they gave us our distance. So our distance is 260. Then they gave us the rates of both trains. So one train is at 70 miles an hour. The other train is at 60 miles an hour. The reason why, because we want to know when they're going to meet. So we have 260 divided by 70 plus 60 gives me 130. And if I just ignore the zeros for a moment and actually divide 26 and 13, that will give me 2. So it is 2 hours. And that's another thing. Always double check to see if everything is going to be in hours. 1 second. Sorry, I had to do that fun little puzzle piece. Okay. So, if they started at 4 p.m. and we're talking 2 hours, they're going to arrive at 6 p.m. Yay. Across time zones, it will make things interesting. True. Alright. Oh, okay. Alright. Okay. I love how people are saying, do another. Like I don't know that already. The spirit called me. I mean, obviously, we're going to do some more examples. Sheesh. Were you guys not hugged? My goodness. Alright. So, NSA decided that it's a fine day to launch a rocket. Rocket blast off at 3:52 p.m. At 3:55 p.m., the rocket has reached point A, 35 miles above the ground. And 4:10 p.m., the rocket reached point B at 232 miles above ground level. Assuming a constant rate of speed, how fast is the rocket traveling between point A and point B? Yeah, that was getting kind of cray-cray. It's a fine day to launch a rocket. Okay. Alright. Okay, good grief. We got a more. Well, thank you. So we got some D's. Let me see. Kind of had to straighten out the music for a second. I thought I was going crazy. Okay. So we have all that. So anytime you have a distance, rate, or time, yeah, you can use that pyramid. Let me ask. Is it today a good day to launch a rocket? Okay, it's all right. It's okay. This is the time to be confused. This is the time to ask the questions. All right. So let's take a look at it. What they're giving us is coordinates. So what they're doing is they're taking the time from when they blast off to the miles. So this is the start time. Let me highlight it. So the start time was at 3:52. But at 3:55, which that is 3 minutes later, the miles was at 35 miles. Okay? So I had to take this and compare it to this. That's where I got the 3. Okay, 55 minus the 52 gives me the 3. And the miles above the ground was 35. So for the other one, at 4:10, okay, so 4:10 to 3:52, how many minutes is that? Okay, thank you, Landon. We got 18. Thank you, Peace. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, everybody. Good. 18. So we got 18, and the amount of miles at point B was 232. Now, remember, these are minutes. These are miles. Oh. Oh. I'm sorry. Okay. That's hilarious. For those that don't know, I live in Baltimore, Maryland, and lately there's been some weird stuff in our lovely little area, and something just happened that is soon or not. Yeah. Can I zoom out? Sure. Okay. So we found 2 points. So this, they're asking us, assuming a constant rate of speed, okay, we're looking for slope. So we're going to actually use the formula for slope to help us solve this bad boy. So this is going to be my x1, my y1. This will be my x2, my y2. So we're going to have our slope, and slope is the change of y's over the change of x's. So it doesn't matter if you start with y2 to y1 or y1 to y2, as long as you keep the same pattern for the x's. So if I go y2 minus y1, I'm going to have 232 minus 35 over 18 minus 3. Okay. So 232 minus 35, 7, 19. Okay, and this will give me 15. Now, this is going to be dealing with miles over minutes. Look at my answers. We're looking at miles per hour. So that means I can take this 197 divided by 15, and I need to multiply it by 60, because 60 minutes will give me my hour. So now 60 and 15, they have something in common. What do they have in common? Not 4. 3, but there's something a lot higher. It could be 5, but something a lot higher. There you go, M. Thank you. Caribbean Queen, thank you. Jillian, thank you. We got 15. So this 60 divided by 15, oh, that's where you guys were talking about 4s. That's where the 4 comes from. Okay? Because 60 divided by 15 gives me 4. So now all I have to do is multiply 197 times 4. So take a look. Ready? 7 times 4 gives me 28, right? So that means the 8 comes down here and a 2 comes up here. Pause right here. Take a look at my answer choices. The only ones that ends with an 8 is D and A. So B and C is out. So now let's look at the next number. Because this is a 5, this is an 8. So we have 4 times 9, that gives me 36. Plus the 2 gives me a 38. So that means D is my answer. Okay? So notice as this is progressing, it's getting more and more challenging. And that's exactly what's going to happen with the ASVAB. Okay? As you progress, it's going to get a little more challenging. They're going to do combinations. Let me put the words together. Combination of different tactics together. So this one, it worked on slope. It also worked on conversion. It also worked on, do you understand how to multiply? Okay? So there was 3 tactics all combined into one problem. All right? Okay, that's all right. Where did 4 come from? 60 divided by 15 gives you 4. And we had to multiply the 60 because all of these were minutes, miles per minute. We don't want miles per minute because look at your answer choices. They're all miles per hour. So we had to multiply your fraction by 60 in order to get it into hours. Okay. Where did the 18 come from? Because 410, 352 to 410, that's 18 minutes. That's where the 18 came from. The triangle sign means delta, change. Yep, the triangle means delta. If all my delta 5s and delta, all my sorority sisters and all that, I don't know, not in the sorority, can you tell? Okay. Where did the M come from? That's slope. Okay. That's slope. Okay, I was about to say. I'm like, MG. Come on now. Okay. But some people, they might have never seen it. Alright, so let's keep going. And here's another thing. I just want you to know, I'm definitely not from Dundalk. What? I'm not even from Baltimore. That's one thing. Okay. The highest level of math that I cover, that I teach, the highest that I would go is pre-calc. I feel comfortable pre-calc. Not that AP pre-calc garbage. That needs to go back to the depths of hell in which it came. Making it all crazy. Alright. Alright. So now, a store manager makes $35,000 per year. Of this, 28% is withheld for federal and state taxes, but he receives 52% of his withholdings back at the end of the year when he files his taxes. Okay, what is his net income for the year? Is it A, B, C, or D? So it's not like you were never good at math. A live pre-calc? No, I only do pre-calc for my tutoring. I was never good at math. I think it's because you didn't have someone to break it down to you. So it's not because of your ability, it's your, I wouldn't say it's your experience. Because I know I had a crappy experience when I was growing up with math. And I just basically decided if I want to be a math teacher to help other people get through this, I have to go through all this. And trust me, it was not an easy feat. But making it so far. Till after college, school. Okay. Yes. Okay, so I'm seeing some D's, I'm seeing some A's, I'm seeing a few B's. Okay, quite a few B's. Alright, got a little A's, got a couple B's in there. Okay, nice. Alright, and remember, if you're not sure, you can use a question mark. That's perfectly fine. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look because I am starting to see a lot of B's, which is good. Now, we started off with our 3,500. Okay, we had to figure out what is being withheld as also what he's receiving back. So, what is being withheld? So, we need to figure out what is 28% of 35,000. Okay, we know we got a whole bunch of zeros. One more, carry the 4. So 24, that would be 28. Then we have 1, 2, 3 zeros, another 0. Then carry the 1, 6, that would be 7. So this will be a 9. This will be 8, 2 zeros. And we have 2 zeros for the decimal place. So 9,800, that is going to be the 28% that's being withheld. Now, we need to figure out, so he receives 52% back because we need to figure out what the 52% is of this, not the 3,500. Okay? So if we do our 28, I'm going to see if I can pick this up a little bit. Just a little bit. Just this one time. Okay? So if I take my 52% of that 9,800, so we got 0, 0, 16. 18 makes 1, 19. 5 and 0, so 0, 0, 0 for the 40. And then we have our 45. 40 plus 45, so that'll be 49. And we have 0, 0, 6, 9, 10, carry the 1, gives me the 5. Alright. Okay, so we got all our players. We have the 9,800 that's being withheld. 52% of this is what he's going to 0, 5, 9, 6. Take the difference of that because that's what he's going to get back. I know, right? You're like, what? We're doing taxes? Yes. So that's going to be a 4, This is going to be a 0 because we borrowed here. That's going to be a 7, and this is a 4. All right? So now, this is what supposedly is happening. But we want to know, what is his net income? Okay, what is he taking home after all of this? So this is what's being withheld, taxes, with this much he's getting back at the end of the year, right? So we're coming back to our 3,500. So we have our 3,500, or 35,000, sorry. Then we're taking away the 4,704 from this to figure out how much is coming back. Now, just based off I'm going to be borrowing from this 3, I'm still going to have a 3 intact. A is done. Okay? So, we can do this. We know that this is going to be a 10, so 10 minus 4 gives me 6. Which one ends in 6? B. Okay? This is going to be a 9. This is 9. 9 minus 2, 9 minus 7 is 2. And then this is going to be a 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. And then I have my 3. Okay? So sometimes just by doing what you think the ones is going to be, then you look in the ones column to see which one has the same one. And sometimes it's just 1. Then that's going to be your answer. Zoom out quite a bit. Oops. Okay. All right. I know it's a lot, especially when you have to do it manually. It is a lot. And I know a lot of people left, which is fine, but that tells me about your character. That tells me that you want this. Okay? Okay? Did yours almost like, yes. So there's always different ways. There's always different ways. So, thank you so much for sticking with it. Okay, 24. You have to carpet a room that measures 8 feet by 14 feet. How many square feet of carpet should you buy? Is it A, 112, B, 23, C, 224, or D, 46? Oh, thank you. All right, so we got some A's. We have our A's. Good. We have a 112, which is our A's. Everyone's doing fabulous. I'm not seeing anything. Yep. 50% back from withholding. Yep. From your taxes. You don't get all your money back when you do your taxes, baby. Okay. Seeing somebody with a B and with a D. Okay. All we're doing, guys, they want basically square feet. Square feet represents area. Okay? Anytime they're talking about area, right now they're talking about a room. Most rooms are rectangular or square. So this one, they're talking about 8 times 14. So that's what you're doing. 14 times 8. 4 times 8 is there. Okay? You can put your 3 over here. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 3, 11. And that'll be your answer. Okay? Right? Because they're taking out 52. So that means 48 is going back, John. Well, that question, yeah. Like, Misha, I'm not sure when you got in here. For that question, yeah. Alright. Almost. Should be almost done by now. Yep. almost done. Don't need those. Okay. In a two-child family, one child is a boy. What's the probability that the other child is a girl? Is it A, 100%, B, 50%, C, 2 out of 3, or D, 1 out of 4? Okay. All right. All right. So we got our B's, we got our D's, we got our B's, we got 50%, we got B's. People saying tons of people saying B's. We have a D. We have a West C. Got a Flo with a D, a Heart with a B. Okay, one in for Vladimir. Okay, Night, we got our B's. What book is this? ASVAB for Dummies. Okay, we got our B's, we got our B's, we got our B's, we got A's, we got C's. In China, 0%. Let's go. Dylan, do better. Okay, rise above it. All right, give me B's, A's, C's, B's. Okay, C's, C's, all the above, not all the above. You gotta pick one. Okay, you gotta pick one. Okay, so a lot of you guys are saying B's. All right, let's old school it. Ready? Because I'm an old school teacher. All right. We can just 50%. Yeah. Does it affect the gender of the other child? Yes. Okay, there we go. So, say we have a boy. We can either have a boy and then the second child could be a boy. Or the first child is a boy, second child is a girl. Okay? You can also have like girl boy as an option and girl girl. But we know that girl girl is not going to work because the first child's not a girl. Okay? So these are your options when it comes to kids. Okay? You got to have boys, a boy and a girl and a boy, or two girls. But since we said that the first child is a boy, that's why this one's not an option. But we're saying the first child is a boy, so that is 2 out of 3 options, not 50%. Okay. What else is going to be a dog? I can't with you guys. It is just too much. Hey, Nicole. Yep. Yep. So it's not giving us order. Okay? It's not saying this first child, they say one child. They could probably have some others. I don't know. But they said one child is a boy. Okay? All right? Yes. I am not. So, a computer. Okay. All right. Sorry. You got a person talking to me, and I'm like, I'm live. I've been live for almost over an hour and 15 minutes. Like, seriously. Leave me be. Okay, so a computer depreciates by 25% each year. If a computer costs $2,350 new, how much will it be worth in 2 years? So is it A, B, C, or D? So I got some B, C, D, B, C, B, D. Do we divide? Ooh. B, C, A, D. Okay, we got some B's and A. Double C's. Okay. Jocelyn with a B, Boo with a B, Splash with a B. Make me stop writing. Well, Matt, what did you write? Didn't see it. What did you write? C, Catherine B, BBB. Give me a double D, baby. Alright, Romero, we got B. Okay, a whole bunch of B's here. Question marks with big G, thank you. Vladdy is saying 1321. Okay, hold on, that was the B. Miss T with a B. Alright, let's take a look at this. Now, so it's depreciating, so obviously it's going down by 25% each year. So if its starting cost is $2,350 and it's depreciating, so that means they're taking 25% off. That means 75% is still on this lovely price. Okay? So we're going to calculate it to see what's happening basically in 1 year, or you can just like multiply it. So I got my 0, got my 25, 15, that's 17, 10, that's 11. I got my 0, my 35, 35, 21, 24, 14 with the 2, that gives me my 16, 0, 5, 12, 6, 7, 1. Now, 2 decimal places. So that's how much came off in the first year. So this is year 1. So now, an additional 25% is coming off. That means an additional 75% remains on. Okay? So you have your 0, you got your 25, your 12, carry 1, 30, so it'll be 31, 35, that'll be 38, 5 and 1 and 3, that's 8. Then you have your 0, 35, 14 and 3 is 17, carry the 1, 42, that's 43, carry the 4, so we got 49, ugh, almost like I got a brain fart, 49, 53, carry the 5, that'll be 12. Whoosh. So 0, 5. I do this long ways for you, not for me at all. All right, so we have another, there's 2 digits here, there's 2 digits there, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have $1,321, and it really should be 88 cents, but I guess they didn't want to carry it over. Tisk tisk, but that's what it is. Okay. I love how you guys are arguing when you guys see these. No, this is in 5th grade. No, this is 6th grade. This is 7th grade. AKA, it needs to be done. But here's my thing. This is the one thing that a lot of people forget. Nope, no formula. Just straight multiplication. Because if you're going to take 25% off of anything, that means 75% is still remain on it. Okay? You can do that for your sales. So if you go shopping and they say, oh, this is 30% off. First of all, read it. Because if it says up to 30%, that means there's a lot of stuff in there that's 5%. I know, it's disgusting, but here we are. Welcome to capitalism. So when you look at the price, if 30% is coming off, that means 70% is still remaining on that original price. just take your original price and multiply it by 0.7. Boom, you'll get your rough around answer of how much it is prior to taxes, of course. Okay. Okay. No, I didn't. So, because this is taking the percentage of year 2. So this would be year 1. Year 1's answer. And then this is year 2's answer. And that's what we want to do. All right. 27. Okay, Igor wants to paint his back porch and front porch. The patio measures 14 feet by 12 feet, and the porch measures 10 feet by 8 feet. If each can of paint covers 48 square feet, how many cans of paint should Igor buy to completely paint the porch and patio? Is it A, 5, B, 6, C, 7, or D, 8? Okay, so I'm saying A, C's, VB. I think you're saying B. Okay, 6 with my B's, a couple B's. And I have an A with the life of. I have my B's, I have 6, 5 or 6. Make a choice. Okay, Nighthawk. Okay, B or A, make a choice. Okay. Yeah, there's none of this TFs that people used to write back in the day. They're like, no, it's a T. No, it's an F. It's true or false. No, make a decision. Okay. Okay, Mo, please choose the correct answer. Okay. Angel, C, B, B, B's. Okay, a few follows. Thank you for the follows, guys. All right. Okay. HVAC Daddy, thank you. Okay. So, if we got what HVAC Daddy is saying, because that's basically what it is. Okay. Good answer. Correct answer. So, the reason why he said like 248, let me show you where that came from. So, you got your 14 times 12. Alright, so 14 times 12 gives me 168. Alright, that's how your feet square it. Or square feet. The next one is the porch, which is 10 times 8. So 10 times 8, that will give you 80. And when you add these two together, you get your 8, you get your 4, carry the 1, you get your 2. Okay? So that gives us our 248. But we're saying that each can of paint covers 48 square feet. So let's see, how many 48s can go into 248? So I think it is going to be 5, I think. 0, 40, that's 20, that's 24. Okay, subtract, we got our 8. And that means we're going to have to put our decimal, get our 0. So let's see what the next point's going to be. So how many 48s can go into 80? Well, 2 will be too much, so let's try 1. So right here, I would stop. Because we can't have a point anything of a can. So it's not going to be 5. It's not going to be enough. You're going to be short because of this excess that's here. So it can't be 5. So we're going to have to round that bad boy up to make sure we got enough paint, which will give me 6. Okay. Okay. He's like, I finally got one. You got one. All right. Nice. Good. All right. Good one. All right. 3 more questions. 3 more questions, then you're freed to go. I'm serious. You can go anytime. That's all right. All right. So, a tune-up increases a car's fuel efficiency by 5%. If a car averaged 20 miles per gallon before the tune-up, how many miles per gallon will it average after the tune-up? Is it A, 25, B, 22, C, 20.5, or D, 21? Okay, I love it. The C of D's, C of D's, C of D's. All I see is D's. Okay. Yep. Yes, you do. Okay. So we got 21s. Let's see, a whole bunch of C, whole bunch of D's. Good. All right. So if we take a look, car averages 20 miles per gallon, and we're trying to get 5% of it as a decimal, which will give me 100, but it's 2 decimal places, so it's going to give me 1. So basically, you're only getting 1 mile per the gallon, so it gives you 21. So how many miles? Ooh, a big whopping 1 mile. Okay, so the answer is D. All right. It's okay. Like, dang it. I know, right? Exactly. We'll talk about that later. Okay. So, you got 20 miles per gallon. The efficiency gives you about like 5%. So what's 5% of 20? 5% of 20 is 1. Okay. Because 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 2 is 10. We have 2 decimal places. So you got 1.0. So if we're looking at 20 miles per hour, how many miles per gallon that we're going to get after the tune-up? So it's 20 plus 1. That gives me 21. Okay. Got it? Okay. All right. All right. Down to the last 2. All right. Is there a way that we can see if we can get ourselves a nice little taps? I see some of you guys tapping, and I do appreciate it. So if we can continue on, that'd be awesome. But I know you're trying to like solve problems and tap at the same time, so you're like, screw the tapping. Let's get this going. All right. I know. You love it here? Like, I can't do this. I'm trying to get this part down. All right. Another Two trains, okay? Two trains leave two towns that are 50 miles apart. They travel towards each other at rates of 30 miles per hour and 20 miles per hour, respectively. A bumblebee. Are you listening to this? This is a test question. A bumblebee flying at the rate of 50 miles per hour starts out just as the faster train departs the train station and flies to the slower train. The bee then turns around and goes back to meet the faster train. Then the bee turns around again. It keeps flying back and forth between the trains until the trains meet. How far does the tired bumblebee fly? This is the type of question that you just want to throw something far across the room. All right? But then when you're seeing the out, oh my goodness, when you're going to see the answer to this, you're going to be like, really? For real? Yeah. So, is it A, 25 miles, B, 30 miles, C, 40 miles, or D, 50 miles? Come back to it later. So, oh, goodness. Right, fast as B, right? Air Force qualification test. So this is first part of the ASVAB. So once you get past this, then you can get into the testing for your career. So if you want to do auto, or if you want to get into engineering, all that other stuff. Because ASVAB has two parts to it. I said obviously you didn't put it in the right AI. Windshield. Armed forces. Train for the Air Force. Yeah. Okay. So Nicole's saying is D. Alright. So we got A, we got Navy, Armed Forces, got it. There you go. A or D. Me too. 50 miles per hour. Okay. There's no E. We got C, we got D, we got B, B, and A for Mo. That's a good one because one way of looking at leads to infinite sums and the other one is easy. Yep. They're usually going to go with the easy. Just want to let you know as a heads up. What does the B have to do with anything though? That's what everyone's thinking. All the above. No. Pick one. Okay. Just don't know the formula. That's okay. Okay. I actually did show the formula a little bit earlier, but I will definitely show it again. Okay. No, you're not stupid. John. Jesus. Okay. Stop it. All right. Anytime they're giving you some kind of distance, here is the form. And a lot of us probably have been introduced to your distance. This is your rate and your time. Some people will say this is your speed, okay, instead of your rate. Okay, so now, this time, we have our 50 miles an hour. So they're telling us we're 50 miles apart. So that's my 50. The bumblebee, yeah, distraction. Okay? So we have our 30 miles an hour and our 20 miles an hour respectively. So that's our 30 and our 20. So here we have our 50 over 50. Okay, because we have our rate. So that means we got it equals 1. But 1 what? 1 hour. Because the way that let me shrink this a little bit. The way that we do this, if they give us our distance and our rate, that means when we're dividing it, we can figure out the time. But we want to know when this lovely little bee is going to be tired because it's going at a rate of 50 miles per hour. So in order for us to figure that time, they gave us a rate, so we're going to multiply now. 50 times 1 gives us 50. Yep, that's it. That's it. Okay, so it's your distance, your rate times time. Okay, so if they give you the distance and the rate, that means we're going to divide so we can figure out time. If they give you the distance and the time, that means we're going to be figuring out a rate and you're going to divide. If they give you the rate and the time, that means we need to find distance and you're going to multiply those two together. Okay. Yes. So that's how anytime, and they do quite a bit of distance, rates, these type of word problems. For the ASVAB, they don't do as many for GED, but they do throw one or two of them in there. But for the ASVAB, yes. And for AccuPlacer. And T's test, you'll see a few of these as well. Okay? Not as much, but a few. All right. Now, last one. Oh, goodness. Okay. So, find the missing length in a right triangle where the lengths of the two known legs are 10 inches and 24 inches. Is it A, 20 inches, B, 26 inches, C, 28 inches, or D, 30 inches? Yep, so we are looking for, who said that? MG, yes, we are looking for the hypotenuse. There you go. Aww. How you talking like that on the Lord's Day? Carmen's a bitch, man. And you wish. And I know it's a kid, so that's why I'm not going to completely fry you. I'm just going to leave it at that. God can do more than I can do. So I'm all right. I know. Toronto King. I know. Here we are. Okay. I love how you say math is a waste of time and you say make money clean. How can you make money if you don't know your math? It's that time again. All right, so I'm seeing some A's, I'm seeing some B's. I'm seeing some A's, I'm seeing some B's. Okay, thank you, Robert, with the B. Okay, Dana, welcome back. I didn't see you there. Sorry. All right, Trudy with the A. Okay, Jocelyn with a B. Matthew with a B. Splash with a B. Nicole with a B. All right. Louise with a D. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? All right. The answer is B for Showa. Okay. Let's take a little gander, shall we? All right. So, whenever in doubt, draw it out. So, we're going to draw ourselves a nice. If you're good with not visuals, hey, that's fine. So that means the side that's directly across from that 90-degree angle, that's going to be your hypotenuse. And that's what we're looking for, right? So if it is going to be our larger side, I can tell you right here and now, if our two known legs, one is 10, I know it doesn't look it, but here we go, and one is 24, and this is supposed to be larger, right away A is out. Okay? A is out because it has to be larger than 24 and 10. So now we can do Pythagorean's theorem. So we have our A squared, which we could say my 24, plus my B squared, which is my 10, is equal to my unknown squared. So 24 squared, 576, plus my 100, because 10 times 10 gives me 100. 24 times 24 gives me 576. And we're going to see if it's going to equal our unknown squared. So we have the square root of 676. So what we could do, and the reason why I'm squaring it, or doing the square root, because that's the opposite of a square. Okay, square and square roots are opposites of each other. So now what we could do is, let's see, if I did 30 times 30, that's going to give me 900. That's not going to work. So it's either going to be between 26 or 28. So 26 times 26 gives me a 6 in the ending. That gives me an 8. So it has to be this. Okay? Because we're looking for a 6 as an ending. So now 6 times 2 is 12 plus 3. That gives me 15. 6 times 2 is 12. Carry the 1. That 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. And it gives me my 676. So that is definitely my answer. Okay. All right. Sweet. Sweet. All right. It looks like it's that magical time where all the little trolls are awakened from their Saturday night's craziness. And they're decided to come to my lovely live as they usually are. But thank you for coming in. Thank you for spending a good majority of your morning. I think it's now time for football, if anybody's into that. But if anything, this is basically what I do. I do a lot of things trying to get people ready for their AccuPlacer. If anything, if you're looking for where's my stuff? If you're looking for a tutor, I tutor, and I've been tutoring. Actually, I got a tutoring session tomorrow. So today is not too cray-cray, which I'm happy about. Now, if I can find my information that I can share with you guys, that would be awesome. This is what happens when you have a nice desk and then you mess it up. But if you are interested into tutoring, please let me know. You can just direct message me. And for those that came like a little bit later, probably missed the beginning of our sessions, this is what you can do. Here we go. Found it. Okay, you can go here, type in this, go ahead and subscribe. It's a free subscription. There is a playlist that says TikTok Lives. All of my lives from TikTok is up, ready, and available since February 2nd. I think even last night's is there as well. Okay, Jenny, how you doing, Jenny? Yes, that would be nice if we can get to 40. That would be awesome. I love how we have almost like 1,000 people in here. So if you guys can do a Mad Tab while I explain all this, that will be great. But if you want to see the replays of this, all my replays of all my TikTok lives since from February 2nd is there. So if you need any assistance, if there's like something in particular that you are in need of, like say radical functions, I did that. Looking at probability, I did that. Standard deviation, I did that. All you have to do is just do a search and then watch away. Now, if you are in need and you're thinking, you know what, I want to do my GED, but I don't know, I don't feel like going to the classes. I'd rather just do something in-house, don't have to worry about people. I do have courses available. So for the GED, ASVAB, AccuPlacer, now TEAS, HESI, was it IBEWs, any of those other high school equivalencies. High school equivalencies is the GED. So whatever letters that you guys use, because every state uses a different letter, You can definitely go into the foundations of algebra if you're T's and otherwise, or maybe you just want a homeschool parent that needs assistance. I do have courses available, so this is where you can go to register for those courses. And it's self-paced, so if you want to do 5 sections one day, knock yourself out. If you just want to do a section a day just to kind of get used to it, go ahead. There's 107 videos. There's practice problems as well. I think it is. What does TASC mean? If it's a high school equivalent, then that's it. Thanks, Nicole. Thank you, guys. Okay. The CAS test. What is the CAS test? Because I keep seeing people talking about it to me. And I'm like, again, it's probably something else. Is it like high school equivalent? Hold on. Oh, thank you, isolation. It's the best. I'm like, that's kind of a cool name. Because sometimes I feel the same way. So I'm just trying to see when. Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me on my goal. Appreciate it. So I'm waiting for people to tell me about the CAS test and the, what is the other one? TASC. So until you guys tell me, I have no idea. Because if it's like a high school equivalent, then yes, GED is just like the high school equivalent. Because it is the high school equivalent for us. All right. So, and in the midst of all of this, I have created some workbooks. Or I am creating some workbooks, but I have some notebooks that you can use to help organize your thoughts. And what I do is this is what I usually do for my lives. I usually have like this notebook, and then I break down concepts. And sometimes if there's formulas, I'll stick it in the formula section. If there's steps, I'll stick it in the steps section. So if you have someone that's currently taking classes that want to organize their notes, this will be a great Christmas gift. Can I believe I'm saying that right now? All right. So, because in the back of this, I have resource pages. Okay. So, with all of this, I have my 2 pages here. Then we have like all these reference pages. So, if you're still stuck with your squares and your cubes and your cube roots and your square roots, I have you covered. Your rules of integers from addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. I have those linear and quadratic equations, as well as order of operations and properties of exponents. Then you have your decimal operation as well as the fraction operations. Then you have like from percent to decimal, decimal to percent, arithmetic to geometric sequences. Oops, didn't mean to turn that page because I wanted you to see the next page, which brings us to our distance, speed, and time. Remember I said speed can also mean rate. Then you have your measures of central tendencies, graphing linear inequalities, system of inequalities. Hey, that looks familiar. Pythagorean theorem, did a little bit of trig. We have volume and surface area. Also your area and perimeter, unless you're talking about the circle, which is circumference. Okay, and then last but not least, your conversion chart. So we actually worked a little bit with the pints and the quarts. Remember those? So all of that is a reference. This book in particular is for Algebra 1. Then we also have this one for Algebra 2 and Pre-Calculus. Same format, but the only thing that's different is what's happening in the back. So there's going to be some components that they'll see mostly in Algebra 2 that's going to be in here, and some components that they need as a reference, especially the exponents. Then you have your inequalities, but then you have your logs and exponentials. Then you have acceleration, velocity, and time. Very similar. But then you have your conic section, your unit circle, as well as the reference circle when it comes to the Pythagorean theorem. But now we're talking a little bit about sine and cosine, and we're actually looking at their graphs, okay, to kind of have all the reminders of the domain, what's going on with the general equation, the amplitude, the frequency. Then we have trig identity, and lastly, the Pascal's triangle, okay? So all that's located all in one book. And if you are a lefty, I got you. Now, for my lefties, you're going to have to, you could get all these books on the big A, you know, the brown box with the happy face on it. But I also sell this personally, which is my books by Audrey Codner. You can go ahead and screenshot that. I'm going to take it off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, the left-handed edition, as you can tell, it opens from the opposite side. You get to enjoy everything you need to enjoy. Is a true left-handed book. Okay, again, this one is for Algebra 1, and I do have one for Algebra 2. I haven't ordered it in yet, but we have all these as some good resources. So you can order all of them here, or you can order them from the big A. Okay, can't say the word. I don't know. Okay. All right. Yep. Lefties. Lefties need love too. Okay. Both of my parents are left-handed, so I actually dedicated this book. This one I actually dedicated to my father, and my mother gets the other book. Because God forbid you give to one and you don't give to the other. It's just maddening. So even though he has passed on, but my mom is still around. Okay, and if you ever just want just copies of my notes, like all the notes that I have here in all these notebooks, I have this called Audrey's Notes. So what happens is there's a QR code that takes you directly to the YT, the live video, and you can follow along step by step. How did I do all these steps, and how did I do all these things? So if you're interested in those, I have them. Books 1 through 5 is already available on the A, as well as my books by. Okay. All right. I think I'm done. So if you have any questions, if you need some assistance with the tutoring, please let me know. Okay? Because a lot of my slots are starting to fill up because it's getting close to the end of first quarter. So once interims come out, I've started to get a peek of that, but a lot of people are probably holding out and see if their kids can make it to the end of the quarter. And majority is like, no, we need to get you a tutor. So get me before I get filled up, because literally I have only a few slots left. Okay. You're so welcome. Well, thank you so much for coming in, everyone. Thank you for your time and attention. You're spending your Sunday with me. Hopefully you'll do something a little productive. Get outside, get a little bit of fresh air, you know. Get a little something to eat. Watch a little TV. And we'll start again tomorrow. I don't know what time tomorrow, but if anything, if you could, if you click on the orange heart and be one of community members, so you can get an alert of when I do go on. So you can just go ahead. I know it's going to be tomorrow. I'm always on every day, but I'm just trying to alleviate some of these bots and these trolls as much as I can. Okay. It's raining over there? Oh, okay. All right. Which one? Okay, so I can go here. Looks like it's about to rain there. So we got this part. And if not, we got this part. Okay. Yeah, it's like right next to my profile. So if you click on that, yep. Don't worry about the super fans thing. I don't know. no. But the other one is like a free one. And then this is where you can go for the replays. So give me some time to download it, because sometimes it takes a while, especially on Sundays. I don't know why. But as soon as I get it up, you'll be able to get there. So if anything, if you go here and you subscribe, you should get an alert of when I uploaded it. Okay? So 2 places to subscribe. Okay, you have a coastal low. Okay. Is that good or Alright. Alrighty. So if you need anything and you're just like, I want to buy something, but I don't know what would be good for me, please message me so we can chat before you start buying things. I don't want you to buy things and then you regret that you bought it. Okay? I really want it to be something that's going to be helpful and productive. So if you're not sure, just reach out to me. We'll figure out a time to just have a quick little chat. And if you need help with your ASVAB or your GED or HESI or TEAS test, just let me know. All right? Okay, everyone. Have a great day. I'm going to sign off. Keep being awesome. Keep working hard. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Hey, Mel. Yep, just about to leave now. All right, but I'm going to it's going to download so I can put the replay up on TikTok, on YT. All right? All right. Love you all. Take care. Bye now.